Hello everybody, welcome to my test world. I'm Spider UK07 and today I'm going to try and teach you Tinker's Construct. Just the basics. We'll run through how to get all your tools done, smelter restarted, and yeah, we'll see. First of all, you start off, you get given this book, Materials and You. Read through it, give you all the information you need. In case you forget anything, how you make your patterns and your tables and all this other nifty stuff that you can do as well. But today we're going to be focusing on getting your equipment and your equipment making stuff all ready. So without further ado, let's crack on. So the first thing we want to make is some stencils. So we shall create a crafting table. What I would do is put the crafting table back in your crafting grid and get a crafting station, just because it makes it all look the same. It's nice and it doesn't drop things on the floor if you come out of it. So let's plonk it down over it. Right, then we want to make some patterns. So for patterns we want some sticks. Grab some sticks. So sticks and wood, just like so. Gives us some patterns. We grab about 12 of these. We might need some more later. 12 should be enough for what we want. By the way, look, if you leave the stuff in there, it stays there, not a problem. So that's a bit more handy than a normal crafting table. Right, so we've got our patterns. Now we need to make one of each of the other tables. We've got a part builder. Notice that gave us 2 more books. Get a stencil table, and we will want a chest, and another crafting table. So crafting table and a pattern, and we get tool station, and chest, and the pattern gives you a pattern chest. Right, so we have all the tables we need. We've got the tool station, the part builder, the stencil table, and a pattern chest to keep all our patterns in. Also we have the 2 new books, Materials and You Volume 2 and Tinker's Weaponry. And read through them. You've got some good information, and obviously you keep hold of them in case you forget anything. So we need to place down our stuff. So tool station, that's where we assemble all our tools. Next would be the part builder. Just plonk your pattern chest behind it, or I do, or next to it, and put your table down. Then your stencil table. So putting that chest behind it gives us access to the chest inside the part builder itself. So first of all we want some stencils. So we will want a tool rod, and we will want a binder, and we will want a pickaxe head, and we will want a shovel, and we will want an axe, and a sword blade, and a wide guard pattern. You've got all different patterns that you can have. You've got a handguard and a small crossbar. But I prefer the wide guard pattern. It's preference. I don't think there's much difference in what they actually do once they're made. So we've got our patterns. Now we need to make the patterns. So obviously our binding or tool rod we can make out of wood. Put a piece of wood in there, it will give you two white sticks, one and a stick. We'll get a couple because we want 1, 2, 3 and one for the sword, which is 4. So we've got 3 and one for the sword, which is 4. So we've got our 4 tool rods. Now we want to make pickaxe, and for a pickaxe we will need the binding. If you're not too sure, can't remember what you need, if you go to your tool station and click on your pickaxe, it shows you need a head, a handle and a binding. So we've got the binding in there and we have the head in there. We can make a wooden binding out of it. It only costs 1. See, it tells you how much material it costs. It's like half the material, so half a piece of wood is a stick. And I think normally you can make wooden tools. My configuration has it disabled just to make the game a bit more interesting using iguana tweaks, but normally you should be able to make these out of wood and stone, but I have them disabled. The best option for this binding part, I find personally, is some paper. So get some paper. We'll make this out of paper because the material you make the binding out of doesn't really make any difference whatsoever to the overall durability. And we're going to need some flint, which I had somewhere. There it is. Flint. For the pickaxe head. So you can use stone in that as well, but like I said, I have that all disabled to make the game a bit more fun. If you see, when I put the stone in there, it says can only be used to make casts and cannot be used to make a tool, which makes the game more interesting for me. But normally you'd be able to use them if you don't have iguana tweaks on. So we have a head, we have a binding, and we have the tool rods. And then we want the shovel and the axe. One axe head, one shovel head, and then a sword and the wide guard pattern. Let's grab another piece of paper for that wide guard. You'll see why I'm using paper in a minute. It's not letting me use the paper for the wide guard. That's because I've tweaked it. Nor wood. You usually can make paper ones, but obviously because I've tweaked it like an idiot, I can't make a paper one. So I will have to maybe flint. We'll have to hold off on the sword for the minute, I think. Until I get a better construction material for it. Alright, let's put these together. Click on there. Put our tool rod in. Our axe head in. Put our binding in. And there's our pickaxe. We can name it. And grab it out. There's our pickaxe. Do the same for the shovel. Obviously, get to change their names. And then the axe. You would do the same for the sword, but we need some metal first before we can make the sword. So there we go, we've got our axe. And when you use it, it's fairly reasonable. And when they break, you put it in your tool station with a piece of flint, whatever material the head's made out of, and it's as good as new. So that's the first part of Tinker's Construct. Up and going, doesn't take that long. If we have a look now in the second book, second materials in new book, it tells you about all the different materials you can use to make your tools out of. All the different types of weapons, axes, bows, so on and so forth. Gives you your materials, tells you what material is, durability, and the traits that it gives your weapons. If you notice, it tells you the repair material, what the mining level is, so on and so forth. So that's how to make the tools and the weapons. Next episode we shall make a smeltery and start melting metals down, making better weapons and better tools. And I'll show you about upgrading as well. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. See you next episode.